Just getting ready to paint the roof. I put this plastic down. Tried to keep a little bit of it off the carport anyway. And Maggie, the shop dog, is just decided she's not going to move. I guess we'll just paint around her. Well, I've got things kind of trimmed out here, but I wanted to get a picture of this before I paint over it. I took the light off so that I could paint everything, and that original spatter paint rooftop, that's what it originally looked at. It was really, really cool. It's on the inside of the door too, and it was on the one that was up at the Elkhart Museum, but look at that. That would just be epic. Why would you paint over that? Anyway, I just thought I'd show that before I paint over it, because I'm going to paint the whole thing white. But that was just way too cool. May have to do something similar on the parts you can see. Well, this has been a job. Painting this roof has been kind of difficult, actually. You gotta have two coats. This stuff does not cover well. This green tealish color does not cover well at all. We are putting like a backsplash fake ceiling tile, punch tin kind of not punch tin, press tin kind of ceiling tile up in the top. So I'm only gonna put one coat, except for down the edges I'll put two. You can kind of see it there. I've got two on it. This bay will always be exposed, or this non-cubby, so it needs to be painted really well. And then the ends, the window ends, have been double coated. You know, I really thought I liked the green, and then I painted it white, and I really like it much better. Much cleaner look, and it'll go much better with what we've decided to do. So hopefully we can get this done. We got hammered last night with a big storm. This trailer, it's kind of become a joke that every time we get going. So we had this pulled out so that I could stand under here and paint without dripping it on our cabinets and things. And man, it just came a just gut buster storm. So we've had to tarp, and poor Ruby's gotten pounded. It's just been a job. It's become comical a little bit, but we're not laughing. We were so defeated last night. We got today is August the 6th, so we've got 11 days. 11 days. Well, folks, you can't make this stuff up. It has rained every single day we've tried to work on this thing. We had the camper pulled out a little bit earlier so I could paint the roof. We managed to get that done, and we have just scrambled. I haven't done a lot of how-to parts of the filming, just because it has just been like this. Yeah, the entire time. We finally broke down and put some plastic on the side over here just so we could continue to work. It was just getting out of hand, but the top is back on. It is supported by its own arms, which is a nice thing to see. These still need tightening. I need to cut these bolts so that I can bring that acorn nut in. But cable system works really well. Very happy with how that's worked out. I did have one bind up in the back. I had run it in the wrong spot, so we had to take that apart. But we have got the back bed in. So the little trundle bed is back in. Don't have it pushed in all the way, but the alignment's a little off down here, so we're going to have to adjust it. But the gap over here looks awesome. So the alignment down in the corner, when it's pushed in, is perfect. Everything there lines up really well. All the cabling works. Need to put a stopper here. We did have to jack it up pretty high to get the roof back on, because we had it tied up to the rafters. So we did have to jack it up, crank it up pretty high, and when we did, I ran it off the tracks. I need to put a stopper there, because if it's happened once, it'll happen again. And the front one has a stopper on it. So yeah, I had the cable bound up under this guy, and that can't happen. It can happen on the outside ones. It can run under, just not in the middle. Got caught. So this is where we are. We're down to 10 days, and I think we're gonna make it. It's gonna be tight. I have not started the canvas yet. So yeah, nothing like Working right up till the midnight hour. Keeping it real. Well, I've had the top up and down now a couple times, and to get the right distance so I can go get the canvases started, at least, we're trying to kind of figure out where it needs to go. There is a stopper here on the front, and based on what I'm reading online, there's supposed to be 6'3" clearance. And if you put one of these little guys, these aluminum stabilizers that bolt right here up into the ceiling, I need to go up about another inch. I don't want to do that, however, because I do not have a stopper in the back. And so I'm going to go build one of those real quick. We'll just bolt something under there that kind of covers this tab, because this pulley will just go right off of there, and we don't want that. But we are close to height of where we need to be. The thing cranks a lot easier than it used to. I've got one hub. These two are spiraling correctly. And I got one up here spiraling correctly, and the other one is not. So this guy's doing what it's supposed to do. You can see it better up here. This guy is not. So I'm going to have to kind of rework that one a little bit. But otherwise, we're in pretty good shape. Nothing broke when we cranked it up. That's always a good sign. And our alignment's not bad when it's down. But you have to shut the brake off now to get it to line up, so, or to get it to go down. So I have to have a way to pull that. I have to have somebody inside until I get this welded and run back out. You see why it broke, you know? Cable got stuck under it, got in a bind, and snapped it. So that is kind of a poor design there. Bad spot for that. But where else are they going to put it? I'll put you in the tripod here, and we'll see if we can crank it down just a little bit. So you have to kind of crank up a little bit to release the brake. And you're going to hear something kind of flip against the fiberglass. I haven't cut the cables all the way short, so that's nothing to worry about. It's just the cable hitting the edge of the fiberglass. And then if I let go of that, it's locking, so that is good. Turn the camera this way. So if it does crash and go boom and smash my arm, you can at least maybe get some of that on camera. That we put it back down, it's starting to kind of get cloudy again. Oh, we're not releasing back there, it doesn't look like. What's going on back there? I guess it is, it just doesn't, looks like that backside's not dropping. There's something hanging up on it. We're gonna make sure our old roof cable didn't get caught where we had the roof hung up. Yeah, that's what happened. Gotta go back up. Good thing I stopped because it's right on the aluminum plate on the back. We're gonna go up. There, I just saw it drop. And I gotta get those out of there. We're gonna tear something up. Oopsie daisy. Now let's try. Crank up to shut the brake off. And back down. Let's see what happens now. And while this cable up front is kind of down low, I'm going to try and fix this. Whoa! Sorry, the tarp just gave you a good windly nudge there. We can't catch a break right now. The weather. May have to move you. So we're going to get pretty low here, where I can reach down and maybe fix. You're going to get pushed over yet, aren't you? And I might be able to fix it from there on the inside. We'll just leave it there. Good enough. So you can see all of our kind of wobber-jawed stuff along the side here. Gotta fix that. And this door gap, the height of it is off, but I looked at a couple of them I could find online, and they are all that way. So I don't like that. I want to build this up, I think, but I think it's because this lip. We're high on that one side. Might have to adjust that a little bit too. Getting ready to put this door back on here, and it kind of fits in weird. It's got these little tabs that go in. The weird thing about this is the pin that holds the main door hinge in is driven in with pins. So it's like you can't take that out to repair it. I said this thing was so over-engineered and not destined for any failure in the engineers' minds. And so nothing is able to be fixed. I need a little adjustment on the door though, so I just took a plasma cutter and put a little bit of a hole. I may have to weld some of that back over, but that will give us some. I did both holes on the hinge, but that'll let us kind of tip and rock this a little bit where we need it to go. The door alignment is not quite right, so this needs to go in just a hair, which we do have that movement, so we can shove it in just a little bit. But yeah, I was working on it and just was tapping on the hinge to try to get it adjusted. And those little feet, oh, sorry, just fit into these little pockets. And one of the little pockets was kind of loose. And so I tapped on it with the hammer and knocked them both out. So we're going to kind of figure out where it goes. We're going to lock the door in. And then I will kind of rough up the little feet, a little epoxy resin, or not epoxy, but fiberglass resin them. Stick them back in. I'll take a little bit of sandpaper inside there, and hopefully we can kind of get those to seat a little tighter than they were. Oh, so many little things like that that just are engineering failures. We'll get it. Got a little bit of a problem on the door gap over here, and I don't know if we've just messed it up when we were messing with it, or if it was that way to start. I really can't recall. So I'm gonna high build this side and see if we can't kind of fix it. I'm gonna get the door gap positioning over here on the hinge side where we want it by putting that about right there. There's a aluminum plate that kind of goes behind that to hide that gap. So I'm gonna put this where I want it to be and fill in all of that. It's about a ½ inch probably. And I did trim some over here earlier when we were trying to make it fit, but only at my my lines here where it was hitting on high spot. So I don't know why that's so off. We'll make it work. So let me pin this up and we'll see if we can't get, I mean, it's pretty, the door gap's really nice on this side. Lines up really well. And then let me get that where it's gonna hold here. And then over here, not so much. Yeah. Okay, I got that all kind of pinned up where it's gonna go. There's a little bit of a gap here, which is about perfect, and it's all the way down. So that's probably about as good as I can get it. And we're looking right here. And then here, we'll just have to make, I'll have to make this work. This is our striker board here. So I've got to make it where that will hit. So we may have to move it over just a little bit. Oh, man. So I'm going to have to high build all the fiberglass on this side. I have to come up. I think the door is pretty straight, so I'll build off the trailer. I'll check it before I get going though. And then I got a little bit of a drop going on right here. I don't know if that's in the hinge or what, because we are pretty straight right there. So I'll play around with it a little more, but I'm happy with that gap. If we can just get that one to look that good, we've got it made. You can't make this up. About the time we get started every day. In rolls the storms. Oh well. We can at least crank the top up and down now. So if I get in a bind, I can just crank it down. It won't get wet, hopefully. Not too wet anyway. For right now, we just got the clips on the outside. It should be fine. About got my door gap repaired here. Just got a couple more layers I got to put on. It was off about a ½ inch. You see the shadow there. So, about to get it. Shuts nice. Has a nice gap when it shuts now. So I got this down on the ground though. I was gonna do my little trick where I lay masking tape, and we're just gonna pour fill this top part right here to get it even. It's just off a little bit. You don't need to add any actual glass fabric in there or anything. I can just put resin right there. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Here's my door gap. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, with how the reveal is on it. And the gap is the perfect amount of reveal, pretty much all the way down. Kind of shake the camera so the light comes through. Still need a little bit of work on the door latch side. I've got it kind of sit in there a little bit cockeyed so it would help hold it overnight so the hinges could set. I epoxy resined the hinges. Oops. And hopefully when we go to take our clips off, those are good. And then we'll be able to kind of adjust the fitment down here. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape though. It's looking pretty good. I can live with that for sure. We've laughed because Erin and I aren't perfectionists, but if I can talk loud enough over the birds here, we're not perfectionists, but we have done enough of these types of projects. We just kind of are picky with how they look. And this trailer has become the good enough or I can live with it. As he says, I really want to like this trailer, but it has been a bear. I fixed the brake up front. So there was a lever. I'm being outcrowed here. Oh. Birds are super vocal today. So there's a lever that releases the brake in there. This is the original one. And as you can see, it looks like it was cut. Yeah, it's because it probably was. So that was laying in there like that. Do you see an issue? I think they had the cable running under it based on how this cut is on this little guy. And I think it's at an angle that would be at the pretty much exact angle that this cable is running at. And if you lay that down on there, like so, probably won't be able to get it in there, but nope, it's not going to cooperate. But yeah, you get the idea. I think a cable is cut that sucker in two. So I upgraded to 1/4 inch. It's a little bit beefier. It can't be too big because it's got to go into that little fitting custom whatever that is thing. So you can't drill it out much more because you don't have much more metal there. So I just upgraded to 1/4 inch. But I'll put you in this, pop you up in the stand, and I'll show you how this whole little system works here. So hopefully you can see there, but if you take the crank arm and you get a little bit of the tension off of it, you can then push up on this lever that I just built, and it releases this brake that's right back here, and I'll zoom in on it. There's a little wheel that is trapped in that little triangular piece, and that's what allows it to block. So basically if I release the lever, everything can come down. But if I lock the lever, it sits tight and I can let go of the crank arm. You zoom in. So the wheel, it's kind of dark down there, but the wheel is right there, that little knurled piece. About the tension off, and it just brings that little guy up out of its slot. Pretty simple, really. Pretty simple design. But I had to do all these little turns and managed to get it back through there. Works pretty well. And I got it on the first try. So that works. The door gap is close. And it's starting to come together now. This is one of those projects that every process is determined by a prior process. So you have to have the prior one done to do that one. It's just been a bear. Let's take this door setup off of here. Hopefully it doesn't drop too much. Trying to get that back in there the way it's supposed to go is pretty challenging. Hey! Now will it open? I guess is the question. Here's a true test on the door. See if it drops when it comes out. Ha! Look at that. Now we can move on. I like that it has a flush door handle too. I think that's really a cool look right there. So I'm going to spend some time cleaning up this edge so we can hopefully get that door latch and everything in there in the next day or two. It's not very pretty because I had to keep wedging fiberglass up in there. Just kept poking it with the screwdriver. I would saturate it and just kept shoving it in there. Doesn't look very pretty. And then down here, I had to wedge a piece of wood, put resin on a piece of wood and hammer it in and then break it off. So again, it's not pretty, but before, when you would open the door, it would drop. And we don't have that happening now. So now when you shut the door, so the door is what would be closed, I get it behind this right there. That's closed and it should not drop. We can watch it right here. And it doesn't drop. So that fixed it. For now, it'll probably loosen its way back. And then when I made the hinge, you really can't see it, made the hinge adjustable, so that allows me to pivot it. So if we get a little bit of flex in the trailer, that allows me to kind of move the door a little bit. And that's what I did to get the bottom to line up. So I cut those slits so that I could kind of tilt it a little bit. So I think we have fixed or remedied that, at least temporarily. I wish I would have painted this while it was out. I can still do it, but it's going to be much harder to do. But we needed to get that in. So maybe I have to hand brush that. Kind of bummed I didn't paint that, but what's done is done. I was just kind of in a hurry to get it in there and really just kind of forgot about it till I got it all the way in there and I was like, should have painted that. Yeah. So let's go get the door latch out and see what that looks like. There's one more repair I got to do to the door. I had to repair. This was separating, and I'll show you why it was separating here in just a second. And it's separating over here as well. So I'm gonna have to, I can only do one at a time, so I have to, because I don't have enough clamps. So I will remedy that piece there. But the reason it was separating, there's a piece of wood. There's a piece of wood that goes in up here on top. And you can see there's a hole drilled in it. It went like this. That's because there is a pole that goes in here that comes up and supports the canvas for the door. So you have pressure and flex on that, and it just pulled that fiberglass apart because this has so much height above it. It's 38 inches above it, and it's got a canvas on it, and it just flexed and kind of messed it up. So I'm going to do that a little different. I'm going to make a tubular pocket that goes like a stake pocket that goes down, and then I will set screw that up here and that'll kind of keep that from torquing. Now we'll probably tear the handle area up. This thing, I tell you, is so over-engineered. Doesn't have to be this hard, people. Yeah, let's go get that door handle, see what it looks like. So here's our door lock, or door handle. Pretty cool design. You just push where the 3 little marks are, and that pops out this back piece. And then when you pull a little bit further, get it out, and then you pull on it, that then engages this lever that slides your door latch. How cool is that? So see, hidden locks were, or door handles were a thing apparently in 1954. So King Diggit, or that sells the hidden door latch, this was a thing in 1954. His are more hidden than this one, but still pretty cool. But it's a little stiff in its function. Enter my favorite. There we go. Yeah, I put a little free-all on it, and now it moves very freely. It's free-all movement. Freed it all up. Works great. The other side works too. So we're moving this latch right here. Works awesome. Has a little lock on it. Lock now works. Pretty neat. It's over-engineered, but man, it's cool. And the way the lock works, it's a little slider that's right here. And it locks right here, and it only locks it from the outside. So if I move the little slider, I can unlock it from the inside, but I can't pop the latch from the outside, so it's locked. How neat is that? One of the tools I think we probably couldn't have done this project without is this little 90. It just converts your drill into a small head 90 degree and allows you to get into really tight spots. Like, for example, there is a hole that I have to drill right beside this pipe right there, and you can't get to it with the pipe in there, and we need the pipe in there to center it because it's just easier that way. And this little guy allows me, one, I can go in under it and get it, and like a so, or I can hold it up here at kind of an angle and go in after it. So that little guy has been worth every penny. We've used this on several jobs, and it just really comes in handy. Just thought I'd mention that, because you know you can throw one of these guys on, but even at that, I don't have enough length to get the drill head out of the way. So even an extension isn't enough for this one. We could move the pipe back, but I can't support the bed by myself. So that's where we're at. And the bed won't support itself right now because all of the weight in the kitchen cabinet and all of that is not up front, so it doesn't counterbalance. I've got a jack stand underneath the back, but it's just a little bit tippy. So ordinarily, that wouldn't be an issue. We're going to fix that anyway. I'm going to put a kickstand under the back. Yeah, that's the rain. Story of our lives on this project. The seal on this refrigerator door is long gone. Some of it just breaks off, and then other little bits, I broke that whole side off, and then other little bits are having a hard time coming out, but yeah, it needs to go. I think that's a little bit of a hardened rubber. It just crumbles. Yeah. I'll just be here hammering away. bit by bit. Well, why the refrigerator, or icebox rather, door is kind of drying in paint, I'm taking vinegar, just vinegar and soap. I've just mixed it in a spritz bottle. And one of these little sanding blocks. I'm trying to work out this stained area, and I've just worked about right there. And it's coming out. This area was already pretty good. There's a few little, heavily stained areas there. But if I can get it this good, I'm going to leave the original countertop in. I worked on the backsplash, and it looks really good. There is actually in the pattern a tan, kind of a tan tint, a tan stripe to it. And I really like the countertop. If we can keep the original, that'd be awesome. So I'll just keep working. Like I said, I've started here, kind of worked my way. This side needs a little bit more. But when you hit it with a little bit of WD-40, it really kind of blends it and shines really nice. So I'll just do that and then we'll wax it. And I think it'll work. If I can get these big stains out, we won't have to do anything to the countertop. And then I'll put a dowel or putty fill that, and then I'll take a paintbrush and we'll just kind of make that work its way back where it's not so noticeable. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could use these originals. Over here is really stained too. Of course, all the stove sitting on part of this, but it'd be nice if we get that up. Now, this was our solution for getting the pattern on the cabinet front. I just took some tracing paper or vellum, and because everybody has that kicking around. I just happen to have a big roll of it that my, believe it or not, 7th grade art teacher gave me years ago, and I'm still using it. But I think that's gonna work. Got all the lines drawn, and we'll just take it in and cut the areas out where the drawers are gonna go, so we'll at least have a pattern, and then Erin can just lay that down, hopefully on the wood, and get it first cut. So this is the shop dog. Every time, literally every time I sew a canvas, old Maggie thinks she has to give some love to the old one, don't you, girl? You give love to the old canvases? Yeah, you're a good puppy. You like laying on old canvas, don't you? Silly girl. Yeah. Well, the front panel to the cabinets is cut, and he managed to do it in a single cut. We had to tweak a little bit around the hinges and a couple other places, but one cut. So, yep, it's a pain to do the pattern, and it takes some time, but at least you get one shot that counts. Let's stick it in here. The mower's always going if the rain is not a-raining. Let me get that set up in there and we'll walk to the back and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, there's what that looks like. Let's walk to the back here and we'll take a peek at it. Started the canvases. I got 4 days to get them done. I just started them. So that's what that looks like. Countertop cleaned up real nice. It needs waxed, and I need to wipe off all my white powdery cleaner stuff off of there, but it actually cleaned up pretty good, much better than I thought it was going to. Once you have a stove on there and a bunch of stuff, you won't even notice. And the sink cleaned up nice too. So put all that back together and we'll have the little kitchen unit will be good to go. I guess it's called the chuck box, I guess, right? And then the canvas, I did something a little different than what was there originally. Originally there were these little tiny small arch windows, and the reason was because they were restricted to a 36-inch wide panel, and they when the interior part of the window dropped down, they made it where it would hit even with the top of the bed. So the drop down for the window was like here, and then when you fold that piece of fabric down, it would come to the top of the bed. Well, I didn't want to do that, and they had zippers in theirs, which, yeah, that's expensive, putting zippers in. So I pulled the old Higgins trick and did the sash, and there'll be a grommet here and a grommet right there, and there's a rod in here, and we'll do a kickback pole that'll kick back and make a little awning on that. And this camper, I think, is going to work really well for that. I might trade this steel that's in here out for like a tent pole or something, just for weight. But this camper has a stitch that goes right here. It has a piece of fabric that kind of makes a little tent around this, so it'll snap here. So we will have a surface holding that. So the kickback should work pretty good on that. The little kickstands for the awning. I mean, I'm building a full-on camper awning on this strip up here too, but I think that's gonna look pretty cool. And I won't have time to do it before this trip, but I want to make that square modern looking thing look more vintage. So much like the Higgins trailer, I'm going to do a border around that's curved, a little valance, if you will. I will not get it done before this trip. We'll be lucky to have canvases on the silly thing. So that's where I'm at with that. I've started the long side, so this is the short side because you have the door. And I've started the long side. I just have it ready to assemble. So I'll get it sewn tonight and jump on the back section. Probably the next one I do. And this is going to be the trickiest one, I think, figuring out all these angles and stuff. I have the original canvas, but I'm changing that one up too, because we want a little, well, I'll show you. I'm going to change it up back here. So that's where we're at. Looking pretty good. It is the Saturday before the rally. So I've got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is what I've got left. And we're well through the day today. So better stop talking and better start doing.